Atlas valuation, we approach the appraisal process differently. For us, it's not about being the biggest. Instead, we take pride in providing the very best to our chosen clients and emphasize delivering a superior borrower experience, unrivaled service, competitive pricing, and prompt delivery. To learn more, visit atlasvms.com or call or click on the banner below this video.
All right, let's see if he's home. Oh, I don't need to knock. I'm a member. Hey!
Oh, hey, Shannon. Come on in, man.
Thanks, man. Nice place here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I try to come here on most Fridays.
Yes.
Folks, this is Chet.
How you guys doing?
Chet Sunde. Dr. Chet Sunde.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. So we're in the historic Grindstone Club. A lot of history here. And that's where we keep our cigars. All sorts of fun stuff. And yes, we love to study philosophy. So these are some of the philosophers that we cover. And we'll be interviewing right here in the living room. Well, Chet, my friend, it's good to be here in the Grindstone Club.
Good to see you. Glad you're here.
Thanks for taking time. You know, Chet's a dear friend of mine, and about 2018, I was fortunate enough to become a member of this historic Grindstone Club. So that's where we sit today. We'll have a couple of pictures so you can kind of see where we are. But founded in 1870, and here we are many years later.
Yes.
You're a practicing psychotherapist. How long have you been doing that?
Oh gosh, I've been licensed for about 20 some years now. Yeah.
And you've worked with individuals, but you also were specializing in law enforcement as well, right?
Yes, first responders, combat vets, law enforcement, fire, for a lot of years.
One of the topics that came up the other week is I shared a video about just, we jump to conclusions, right?
Yes.
And I did it last week, getting a call from a relative I hadn't spoken to in a couple of years. And so my mind jumped to the worst possible conclusions, like, oh no, what's wrong? Who died?
Right.
And that kind of got us on the whole idea of COLA and how it applies to reverse mortgage professionals. That's what we're going to talk about today. But real briefly, what is COLA? I mean, it sounds delicious and cold.
Yeah. Well, so I've been reading philosophy for many years, mostly Plato and Plato's Republic. And years ago, I found the well-known passage where he talks about the levels of knowledge. It's called the divided line. He describes this line and divides it into 4 parts. And I always wanted to remember it. Of course, it's in original Greek, and the translations are always tough. You can get different words that can represent each part. But I came up with COLA, just as an acronym.
Great.
Easy to remember.
Yeah.
So COLA, the first level, the lowest level of knowledge is the C, which is for conjecture. And that example that you put in on your presentation, you caught your conjecture, right? So conjecture is it's the lowest level of knowledge. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a thought in our head, and sometimes it's sensory information, and our brain jumps to like a supposition.
Yes.
Conjects. What was that? And the thing about conjecture is it really comes from the lowest part of our brain, kind of where all the senses come in, and it's about survival. So it assumes the worst usually.
Is that like our lizard brain? Kind of?
Absolutely, the lizard brain,
okay.
Exactly. The reptile, yeah. So it usually jumps to a negative conclusion. And luckily, you caught yourself. So, one of the ways we can, first of all, getting up the ladder or the levels of knowledge is always a good thing. And that's how we can dig ourselves out of that hole of guessing worst case scenario, when often that's not true. And so the O in COLA is for opinion or belief. So, you jump to a conclusion like, oh, something bad's happened, somebody's passed away.
Right.
And then you might ask yourself, well, do I really believe that? Like, is that the only time I get a call from this person? And you might be like, well, no, I don't believe that. But even if you do, like if that's what you really believe is going on, you can try to get yourself to the next level of knowledge, which is L for logic.
Yes.
And that's where we're looking for evidence. That's the part of our brain that deals with facts, figures, mathematics,
got it.
Estimating things, measuring things. And so that's really where science begins. And Plato's, from his point of view, that is the realm of knowledge, the true realm of knowledge, which is not just the physical realm, but the intellect.
Got it. And then A, cola. So
Yes, abstraction.
what does that mean?
So, if you ever read a journal, often the first part is the abstract.
Yes.
So here's this article, but let's cut to the chase. And what's the essence, the abstract, the true meaning that's coming out of this article? We often, abstract thinking is for our values and our principles that we live by, kind of the things that guide us. So we can go from conjecting and guessing to checking whether I really believe this or not. Whether I do or not, what evidence do I have for it? And then what principle does it tap into, or can I tap into to make decisions about what I want to do or not do in the given case?
So you took the time to, you're not a reverse mortgage originator.
No.
But you know me and you know the kind of work that I do. But I'm just going to read one of the examples that you gave. I thought was really pointed. So you walk into a consultation and you immediately sense the tension in the room, right? And for those of you watching, you've been there and done that if you've been in sales at the kitchen table in the living room. The daughter's convinced that reverse mortgages are a scam. The son heard horror stories on the internet. Mom just wants to stay in her home, but she's paralyzed by all the conflicting information. Dad died 2 years ago, and she has been avoiding making any financial decision ever since. Sound familiar? And you said that you're not dealing with one conversation, but you're managing 4 different levels of thinking, which
Right.
I think you just outlined, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So on the conjecture, you said, reverse mortgage, right? What if, got reactions?
Yeah. What if? I heard that it's a ripoff, or
Yes.
or you can lose your home, or whatever. Right. Worst case scenario.
Yes, absolutely. Lizard brain thinking. And then, opinion. You said those are personal beliefs based on.
Yeah, an opinion or a belief doesn't necessarily, and often does not, have any evidence to back it up. I believe it, but I don't know it.
Yes.
But we can die for our beliefs, right?
Absolutely.
So often we need to check them.
And then logic. I think this is where the originator maybe comes in. You say facts you can verify, actual numbers about
Right.
the loan,
Statistics.
documented evidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what can we compare this to? What's the reality, not just somebody's opinion or somebody's guess?
That's great. And then abstraction. So you said core principles as the A in COLA, core principles that should guide the decision. What would be an example of that for like a reverse mortgage professional?
Well, I think wanting to be a professional, wanting to help people,
There you go.
want to have integrity in what you do,
Yeah.
and not just snowball somebody, but actually give them the facts and help them work through their decision, because this is life-changing for those people.
It is. It's a big It's a transformative loan.
Yeah.
And likely, it's probably the last loan that a person will do.
Right.
So I'd like to go through one of your second scenarios. And thank
Sure.
you, by the way. We're going to have a PDF for you. Those of you watching, look for the link just right below this video frame. And there's a PDF that Chet put together. I think you'll find it very, very applicable and also beneficial. So here's an example. Mrs. Johnson, 78, has been avoiding your callbacks for 3 weeks. That is so common, Mrs. Johnson's not, she's ghosting us, right? Her neighbor mentioned a friend of a friend who lost their house, quote unquote, in a reverse mortgage. Now she's lying awake at night, imagining herself homeless. You said COLA, catch conjecture. Mrs. Johnson, how would you finish that sentence on the COLA, catch the conjecture?
Oh, if I'm talking to her?
Yeah, if you're talking
well,
to her.
Mrs. Johnson, so you've heard of a lot of things, but have you ever talked to anybody about the actual facts of those situations?
And then you have O for COLA, move to opinion. So you ask a really good thing, almost a Socratic question, right?
For sure.
You say, what do you actually believe about reverse mortgages based on your own experience? Why is that important to ask?
Because we can be, all of us, in any situation, we can get stuck in conjecture, not even realizing that we are conjecting or guessing. And if we don't ask ourselves, or somebody else doesn't ask us if we really believe this, often that's the fastest way to get out of it. Because well, do I believe? Well, no. It could be. Well, sure, a lot of things could be, but do you believe it? And again, they may believe it. Okay, we still want to go to the next level and try to get to statistics or hard evidence. But often we don't even have to sell that hard because right away they recognize, well, no, I don't know. Actually, the guy's kind of a jerk, or whatever.
Right, slay that dragon.
Yeah.
And then L, logic. So one of your suggestions is you could say, hey, what evidence do you have about that particular situation? Let's look at your actual numbers, your home value. So this is where you're really going Joe Friday, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, looking at just the facts, man.
Just the facts, man, yeah. And then A, abstraction. I love this question you asked. What's most important to you?
To this lady in her situation, right?
A lot of salespeople never bother to ask that.
Yeah. Because it may be, it could be, who knows what, any number of things, but it may be, I think one example I used was, I just want to pay for my medications.
Yes.
Right? Because that's her health is the most important thing she has right now. Or I want to have something to pass on to my children.
That's a big concern.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think it's important to ask that person in the scenario where there's the daughter and the son, and these people have, different things that are motivating them. We want to get to the owner of the house has the first right to make those choices. But often the family will agree, like, well, I just want to protect my mom. We all want to do that.
Yes,
yeah,
we should. So, well, great, excellent points, Chet. And Chet watches Friday's Food for Thought because he's a friend of mine.
do.
And I always get a
enjoy
little
it.
feedback over a cigar, and we kind of discuss these principles. But thank you so much. I think.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I think we all need to take a nice sip of cold cola.
Absolutely, in our own thinking.
In our own thinking.
In our profession, in our day-to-day life, because we get opinions and conjectures thrown at us all the time, or thrown out from within us.
Right.
And it's very helpful to stay up in those higher levels of thinking.
So before I let you go, is there a humorous example of using cola that comes to mind?
Yeah, a funny scenario. As you know, we had a fire a couple of years back and had to rebuild this place, right?
Yes.
And so one of the new things we added was a nice ice maker, and it's industrial, so it puts out a lot of ice for us when we need it on Fridays.
I noticed it was quite nice.
It is, and I often turn it off during the week because I was warned by the guys who installed it that it was terrorizing them because this place would be empty. They were working on things, and all of a sudden there'd be this crash, and they would think one of their buddies fell. But no, it's the ice falling down, especially when it's empty, right?
Right.
Well, the first couple of weeks of living here, I was being woken up by a crash, and I thought, there's somebody in the house.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Yeah, there's your conjecture.
Right, worst case scenario, and I'm jumping up and I'm looking around, and it happened a number of times, and I know, I'm like, I was probably dreaming, it was something else, but finally it happened right when I was standing next to it, and I jumped, and then I started laughing because the guys warned me, right? Anyways.
So that's where you applied your logic.
Well, yeah, I got evidence.
Yeah, you have evidence.
It was right there next to me, right?
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for spending some time with us, and hopefully we can bring you back on a future episode.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
At Atlas Valuation, we approach the appraisal process differently. For us, it's not about being the biggest. Instead, we take pride in providing the very best to our chosen clients and emphasize delivering a superior borrower experience, unrivaled service, competitive pricing, and prompt delivery. To learn more, visit atlasvms.com or call or click on the banner below this video.